Well, hi folks, September 2nd. Trust everybody's fine. We're on Vancouver Island. We try to sort of step away from the craziness, although if you watched the video from yesterday, you saw there's still craziness going on even at the low levels. But it's interesting how crazy things just keep continuing. And I think if we really don't start questioning what's going on and making our voices heard and quit trying to be so pandering to the political correctness, we're going to end up like that lady in Australia, in the state of Victoria. A pregnant woman getting ready to go for an ultrasound, arrested by 4 cops in her own house. They just came into her house, gave her a warrant, arrested her. She was arrested for disagreeing with the lockdown on social media. Think about that. So I have 2 links in the description to that. One, a video that she posted herself that they took with her cell phone, and then the Australian newscast talking about it. And it's really, really worth watching those because it's pretty frightening. And that craziness is going to come here if we don't really stand up and say something. And we pander to the minority loudmouths who really make no sense, and we're just sort of shuffling our feet. I have another link down there to Pelosi at the hairdressers. Now think about that. I mean, Pelosi, Chicago's goofy mayor Lightfoot, Canada's goofy Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, they all do the same thing. They tell us what we have to do, and they go and they're doing the opposite thing. And there's a lot of politicians out there who are doing that. It's crazy. And we're just sort of standing for it. Nobody's sort of getting up and hollering at it. Another thing with Canada, we have our stupidity happening here. We look stateside and we're all concerned, and our attention is on that because it's just totally nuts. Just totally nuts. But in Canada we have it nuts too. Criminal biker gangs have hacked into the Canada Revenue Agency. Now and this isn't the first time. This isn't the first time. And this is scary stuff. We just really don't have any leadership. When we look at, we have a lefty federal government, full of scandal. They prorogue Parliament to get away from it. Hides in his bedroom and handed out bags of money off his front step. And a lot of people are applauding because they got free money, not realizing the price they're going to have to pay for that down the road. We're all going to have to pay. But he gets into scandal after scandal, hides around, shuffles the deck, moves himself around. Just totally, I have to admit, in his first term I voted for him. I thought, here is a young guy who has all the potential in the world to really, really turn the country and do a great thing. Well, he's turned the country all right, straight into the Agenda 21 globalist issues. We're there, folks. And I think that's the problem with Canada. We do not have any leaders who are more concerned about the country and the citizens in the country of Canada than they are about their own party, their own issues, or being a polite puppet for the globalist sort of idea. And I know a lot of people think that's all BS, but by now, if you haven't given your head a shake, I guess you'll realize it when it happens to us. But this idea that, and I know it's not the politicians who are sort of looking after all this, but they're in charge. If there were leaders that would make sure that the bureaucracy is sort of flawed as well. But You know, as the leader goes, so does everything else go. If the leader's conniving around doing scandal after scandal, what do you think the damn employees are doing? So I think we need somebody to go and clean up that whole thing. Because two people who actually worked with the Canada Revenue Agency had a hand in helping the bikers do this. One was actually a biker, one was a biker's girlfriend. Think about that. Think about that. What the hell's happened to our bureaucracy, our civil servants? It's beyond imagination that nobody is paying attention to that. But then you look at our government. We have an inclusive group of people, all politically correct, and a lot of them totally incompetent. You just have to look at McKenna's portfolios, missing contracts, missing documentation for thousands and thousands of dollars. When you're asked about it, she hung up on the reporters, turned her computer off. Well, I guess you could say it was a glitch. That's when you're on doing Zoom all the time. It's handing out contracts without tender, bullshitting even inquiries. When the inquiries get too tight, you probe Parliament, and I do not know. I also have a link to Dr. Coleman here out of Britain, and this one is interesting. He has got a lot of his videos get taken off by YouTube because he's not following the. YouTube, like CNN or CBC, is just a tool of the whole this whole organization that's trying to revamp the world. So I've got Dr. Coleman's link is to BitChute. So far they're not sort of kicking it off. I thought if I put his YouTube on up, by the time you get to take a click on it, it might be gone. Another neat one is protect your assets. Kiyosaki is talking about what's going on. And I know sometimes we major in minor things and don't look at the important stuff. We're just sort of rolling along thinking everything's just all well and good. But I tell you, the craziness is coming for us. Just look at Australia. Who would have thought Australia would be such a goofy place? I mean, I know Australians. You know Australians. I mean, they're not people you push about. They're pretty independent people. They're like Canadians, or like we used to be, because we're being pushed out by people who do goofy ass things. And you got to ask yourself, they're arresting people in their homes for just disagreeing with the lockdown and regulations. And yet they're letting people go on marches, destroy things, knock over statues, do whatever the hell, and nobody says anything because they have rights to do that. You got to ask yourself, what's wrong with that picture? We have to ask ourselves, what's wrong with this picture? And we have to get some answers, I think, because we can just pander along and wait for craziness to happen, and by then it's too late. And I don't know, like I say, we look at the States and we shake our head, and we look at Australia and we shake our head, and we look at Britain and we shake our head. We say, what the hell's going on? But it's happening here. We're probably ahead of the game, and we just don't know it. It's been all slightly rolled in there. But anyway, that's about all for today. I'll post those links and in the description portion. And take care. See you tomorrow.